Hello everyone. I need to make some laundry soap. I have been making my own laundry soap for about 20 years, give or take a year or two. So I'm going to start off with some Fels-naptha, and I do about 1/3 of a bar. I kind of use this for some stain removal, so I kind of have a line marked. And I have my grater here. I use like the big grater, that's fine, just because it's faster. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grate up 1/3 of this into my pot here. Okay, I have my soap grated up in here. Now I'm going to add about 6 cups of hot water. Okay, I got my water in here. Now I've got my electric stove on about 7, pretty close to 7, and I'm just going to heat this. This whole process takes about 15 minutes start to finish, and I'll end up with 2-gallon ice cream buckets of soap, which will last me quite a few months. Alright, so we're just going to go ahead and let this melt. When this melts, we'll go on to the next step. You don't want this to boil, you just want it to kind of melt the chunks of soap in there. So I have the wooden fork here to stir it. Okay everyone, I don't want you to bring this to a boil. We're just kind of melting them bigger chunks that are in here. I can see steam coming up from my pot here. So remember, I said this, I got this on like about 7. I'm going to turn it down to about 5. I don't want it to boil, I just want it to heat up. Okay everyone, we're getting pretty close here. Now I'm going to add a 1/2 cup, actually pretty much a heaping 1/2 cup, 20 mule borax, and a 1/2 cup of washing soda. It's found in your laundry aisle. It's not baking soda. 1/2 cup of each. So now what we're going to do is we're going to stir this in, and we're going to dissolve all that. Okay, so you can see this is kind of starting to get thicker. Just kind of, you don't have to stir it all the time, just every once in a while. You don't want it to boil. You just want everything to melt. This becomes kind of like a thick egg drop soup after you let it sit for 24 hours. You want to take a whisk and whisk it up, break it all up. I usually use this wooden thing first, and then I'll bring in the metal whisk and just kind of break up all the gel action. Depending on how soiled your clothes are, if they're heavily soiled, do a cup to a full load. If they're gently soiled, like in the winter when you're not really sweating as much, 1/2 cup is fine for a full load. This stuff is great for front loaders because it's low sudsing. Now I don't add any essential oils, but you can at this point, but I don't. This seems like it's all melted. I'm going to shut my heat off, and I'm going to put it in my bucket, and we'll go over to my bucket. Okay, this is a 2.5 gallon bucket, and I'm going to go ahead and get my soap dumped in there. Now, because I've been making this for so long, I know where the water level needs to be. And it needs to be to this line right here. So I am going to fill this up with hot water. Okay, we are up to our line here. I'll show you. Just give it a quick stir. Now we're ready to put this in our buckets. Okay, I know you probably can't see that well, but we have a to-go getting in buckets. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. So here's my buckets, and I'm going to go ahead and pour my soap in. Hopefully without a kitty. No. So it looks like I got a little too much water. Alright. I've got a jar I can put them in. You get out of there. Come on. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put the lids on. We're going to let them sit for 24 hours. And they will gel up. And then we'll come back and I'll show you how to break up that gel. Alright, it's been about 24 hours here. I'm going to open this up. Grab two things. I'm going to grab my wooden fork and then also a whisk right here. First thing we're going to do is I want to point out something. I had hard water, really hard water, in one of my last places I lived, and it didn't really gel up. So if you do have well water, you may not have a gel like this. You can see it's pretty thick. So I'm taking the wooden fork and just getting it broke up a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my whisk and start whisking. Just want to break it up. Remember, I said this will become the consistency of like an egg drop soup. If you're familiar with the Chinese egg drop soup, once you've got this all mixed up, that's basically the consistency. And it takes a few minutes. I'm doing this in the sink, so any spillage goes in there. Sometimes once you start to get it a little bit broken up, you can kind of whisk it a little bit. And usually before you use it, you might want to give it a little whisk. Just to make sure it's all, you kind of see, still got some bigger chunks there. I don't want to make too many bubbles. Okay, I'm going to grab my measuring cup. I'm going to show you the consistency of this soap so you know when you're using it that that's the right consistency. So, kind of lumpy. And again, as this sits, when they're this full, they can get a little bit, you can see it's still liquid, but it's a little bit on the lumpy side. It's supposed to be like that. There's only so much stirring you can do at a time, but that is my homemade laundry soap. Thanks for watching.